Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Morgan Reynolds with Beyond the Trend, and today, courtesy of Irina and Jonathan at Let's Talk Vero, we are going to get to know all of our Vero Beach City Council members a little bit better. We are starting with the notorious and nefarious Mayor John Cotugno. Thank you so much for being here, John.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
So you and I have spent some time together at Coffee with the Mayors and working with Main Street, which we really appreciate all of your support for the downtown. But for those who don't know you, let's start at the beginning. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Providence, Rhode Island. Back a long time ago. And
a long time ago.
Not that long ago. Grew up there, a product of the public schools. Graduated from Rhode Island College. Mm-hmm. And then from there went out and tried to make my way in the world. And so, I enjoyed being, I'm from a second generation Italian American whose grandparents came over on a boat that you wouldn't cross the lagoon in. And grew up in a very close-knit Italian American family in Providence. I actually grew up at my grandfather's house. So it's one of those old tenements that you grow up. There's a family member living in the second apartment as long as I could remember.
So everybody kind of all right in the same building.
Right. All in the same building. You remember I'm a product of my mom's family had there were 9 children, 5 brothers and 4 sisters.
Wow.
And so it was we grew up in that side of the family is my grandfather's house, and it was great growing up, great food.
Oh, right.
Right.
Do you have some
always look like people were arguing in a big commotion, but that was just us being us. So it was great.
That's nice. It's nice to live in a family environment like that.
And it was.
Yeah. Do you have some favorite dishes still that have been
Somebody
passed
asked me
down
the question
through the family?
other night. Same thing. Yeah. Well, it's an Italian dish known as braciole, which is I could get into the recipe, but just let's say it's rolled beef that's pan sautéed and then put into a sauce or gravy and served. That and veal and peas, but those are kind of throwbacks to the old. They're hard to find now.
Yeah.
Not many people make that stuff. Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
It's good stuff.
So once you were out of school, what was your career path like?
I actually left college early and I returned and should have graduated in 4 years like most people. I actually took 6 years because I went out and went to work. Worked originally in the textile industry for about 6 to 8 years, and then almost by happen chance, by whatever, got a job in the tech business. Began working for Texas Instruments. They had a facility in Attleboro, Massachusetts, which is close to Providence, and began working with them in the electronics industry. Even though my degree is not anything to do with tech, I have a Bachelor of Arts degree in, social science is my major.
Oh, that's interesting.
But they were looking for sales and marketing people and thought I was a good fit for what they were looking for. And that's how I began my career. It's like being at the right place at the right time.
Well, sales and marketing is kind of a social science, isn't it?
It is in many ways. And that's how I began my work with TI. And on and off with TI, I worked for them for 15 plus years in 2 different stints of duty. And then from then, I got recruited to go to work for a Japanese company, an affiliate of Fujitsu, and that was in what they call back-end semiconductor die packaging, which is the long statement to say that if you get your phones, you get your computers, the die that comes off a wafer has to be what they call packaged, put into a form factor that can go into those devices. And the company I work for, produced that form factor so they could be mounted into your different devices. And it was a $1.4 billion company traded on the first section of Tokyo Exchange. Nobody ever heard of us.
That's insane.
And eventually worked my way up from managing the East Coast and then the entire America, and then I became vice president of sales, marketing, and applications and engineering for North America.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Very
I
good.
so I had offices all around the United States, Canada,
Mhm.
had a Costa Rican office, and in that stint of duty, I had a chance to work and live in Japan. So, and that was we lived there for I
Nice.
lived there for a number of months. Learning how the Japanese do business, which is totally different than the way we do business,
It's a
how
very
their
different
culture
culture.
works, how you get to integrate your ideas into their ideas to form consensus. I've learned a lot of how to form consensus with
Mhm.
and take into, for instance, various and sundry ideas that are expressed by people. Maybe you wouldn't necessarily listen to them in the long run. One of my examples is that we're having a major issue with one of our major customers.
Mhm.
It was causing what they call a fallout issue when you mount dye into a package, and it was costing millions of dollars. And we were trying to figure out. We had a room full. We were in Japan and Nagano, where our headquarters. We're trying to figure out how to solve this because it was happening when we were sorting. And it turns out the engineering department came out with a great solution, but was going to cost us about $10 million to implement in assembly equipment. And there's this person sitting in the back, truly against the wall. You can't really make this up. And he raises his hand and he said, I have an idea. And we listened to him. And his idea was you just change the orientation of how you're loading these packages in a device, and you put what is known as a pilot pin in it, and this will do the same thing, and it will only cost about less than $1 million to do that.
Wow.
And they ran a series of what they call series of tests, and it turned out he was right.
Mm.
And the company ends up saving $9 million because we listened to one
You
engineer
were
sitting in it.
open to
Ideas,
ideas.
ideas, and
Yeah.
and it was. So you get to learn that consensus, communal kind of culture the Japanese have, and you learn a lot from that and how they work and listen and drive to consensus and try to steer to consensus, and that I think served me well
Mhm.
as I grew, not only in the business was then, and as I got into my political realm here of
Mhm.
working with the city council as the leader, as the mayor, of formulating consensus, which is the most important thing.
Mm.
Listening to people,
Mhm.
no matter what position they are on the dais, or even and also listening to the public, understanding, meeting people, whoever want to meet with me and discuss things. Because I think that's the most important thing. You don't know where a good idea comes from.
Mhm.
You don't. People want to be listened to,
Right.
whether they're an elected official and sitting on a dais and trying to express what they believe is the opinions of people who have elected them,
Mhm.
or they're a citizen and they believe they have an idea that can be transported to the council and create a solution for maybe an issue that surrounding the community. So that's what I try to do.
I feel like that takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, and it does, but
Yeah.
it also takes. You have to know what the goal you're trying to achieve. I
Mhm.
think because I've been lucky enough to be elected to the city council, and I consider a privilege to be the mayor, elected 3 times to be the mayor. That I think my obligation to the team, and I consider the team sitting on a dais, so that word gets sometimes misused. Team
Mhm.
is that to make sure that everyone's opinion is voiced, uh, and really to bring out the best of the team.
Yeah.
That to me, that's what a leader is. A leader isn't out there uh, forcing his ideas onto the team.
Making it about
He's
themselves.
trying to get the ideas from the team to percolate upwards. And that's where the consensus comes in when you kind of knit those and different ideas together and trying to form a solution or uh, solve a problem that the city's facing or have a discussion. And to
Yeah.
me, that's what a true leader is. A true leader uh, leads by getting the best out of his team.
Mm. So, what brought you to Vero and inspired you to run for city council in the first
Uh,
place?
Getting to Vero was probably like most people by accident. Okay, so my wife and I met uh, in Boca Raton in 1989 or something like that.
Were
We
you
got
living there? Was that
married.
just on vacation?
No, we were both living there at the
Okay.
time. I was
Hmm.
down on a project. I was doing a project down there, and Jan, my wife, was uh, the utility building manager for the city of Delray Beach. Yeah, so we met. We both lived in Boca Raton at the time. Met, got married in 1991. I moved back to New England, and went back to, as I had mentioned before, I had 2 stints of duty with TI. Went back to work for TI again, doing another special project, and then moved around the country. They moved me to Silicon Valley, where I spent my last 15 years doing what I had described I was doing. And Jan became the CFO of the Alzheimer's Association for Northern Cal and then the regional finance director. She
Hmm.
was back here on a leadership seminar at
Hmm.
the Marriott, the big Marriott in Orlando. And I flew out and we decided, we should plan for retirement.
Hmm.
And we wanted to come back to Florida,
Hmm.
be closer to our family on the East Coast at the time. And we went exploring. So we left after her seminar, headed east without any reservations in any hotel. It was in April, it was a kind of off season.
Hmm.
And we got to Interstate 95, and the sign said, one said Cocoa Beach, and the other says Vero Beach. And we said, well, let's go to Vero. We've been to Cocoa. So
Hmm.
that was it. Then we
And it was
arrived
love at
here
first sight.
and arrived here one of those Chamber of Commerce days, as they call. The sky was blue, the sun's out. Get to
Hmm.
the top of the Bobber Bridge, and
The
you could
water
see
is
the
all
ocean.
sparkling.
The
Yeah.
water sparkling, and there's nothing blocking the view.
Mm.
And you could see the trees. You could see the theater. You could even get a glimpse of the museum. And came back every year for about 5 or 6 years, multiple times during the year to kind of check the place out. And there you go, we're here. And
And
we
you're
finally
here.
moved here, bought a home in 2017, and moved here officially April 1st of 2018. We moved into
Nice.
the house. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then how long were you here before you were elected to city council?
Well, first I gotta get this right. First,
It's like
first time I
remembering
ran.
birthdays and
Yeah, first time I ran.
anniversaries,
We got
right?
here in 2018. I minimally qualified by time. 2019 is the first time I ran, as an outgrowth of a traffic calming issue I had on the street I live on in Central Beach. And one thing led to another. I'm sitting at my kitchen counter talking to my brother up still in Providence, who's been in politics all his life.
Hmm.
And he says, you should just run for city council. I said, what's it take to run for city council? And I said, well, essentially in Vero Beach, you show up. You show up, fill out an application, give him a check for $192. He said, you don't need signatures? I said, no, you don't need signatures. So, well, you gotta run. And we talked, and okay, fine. And I ran. And it was all based on this neighborhood issue. And then one thing, I did not win. Okay, did not win in 2019, did not win in 2020.
Mm.
But I got a better feel for what the community was really looking for, and who Vero Beach is.
Hmm.
Okay, and what is Vero Beach, I should say. And ran and won in 2021.
Hmm.
And at that time, Robbie Brackett was the mayor,
Hmm.
and worked very closely with Robbie and what he was thinking about for the downtown and city in general. And then I was, again, it's a privilege to have been elected, and you know, I guess officially 2022 to be the mayor, because Robbie moved up to be the state senator. I mean,
Right.
excuse me, state representative,
Hmm.
and in 22, 23, 24 got elected. So I guess my brag is it's the only three-peat mayor.
Three-peat mayor?
Yeah, in
Nice.
the history. Yeah, because
Nice.
somebody else has been elected 3 times, but nobody 3 times in a row. So
Ah, okay. Yes.
okay, yeah,
Well, the city's still standing, so you must be
yeah, it's
doing
still
something
yeah,
right.
it's still standing. It's a great city. I mean, I everybody brings different concepts or ideas to being the mayor. Because we're a city manager form of government, the mayor is you make the position of mayor what you want to make it, because there's really no uh, administrative duties.
Mm.
Ceremonial duties, signing of
Right.
certain bills. You preside over the city council,
Mhm.
so you can do as much or as little as you want. You can meet the minimum requirements,
Mhm.
or you can take a different slant to the position and do whatever. I took the position as being the person who that consensus thing keeps coming up. What is the community looking for? You get into a campaign and you think you understand what everybody's looking for. What happens when you get into a campaign is the people who surround you, and I'm sure it gets worse as you go up the ladder, from local government to higher, that a lot of times you hear what you want to hear, or people say what you want to hear in a campaign, because your campaign, you're talking to various and sundry people. But the real crux of the matter, what your community really wants, is starting to talk to people and going out and making yourself available. You know, uh, I think I will meet with anybody who wants to have a coffee at wherever they want to have a coffee or lunch or whatever, and
Yeah.
discuss what's the issues. I don't care if you agree with me or not. Some of my better conversations have been people haven't agreed with me.
Mm.
You get a different perspective of a person who doesn't necessarily align with your thought process. I can't say you win them over to your side all the time, but you listen to what the issue is, and you make no judgments.
Mhm.
At least I don't. You make no judgments on what their opinions are, what their careabouts are, what they're trying to achieve.
Mhm.
You listen. You take it for instance. You try to enunciate what you believe the city is trying to do
Mhm.
and why we're trying to do it this way,
Mhm.
and then you go. And then you keep that and you reference that. That becomes a reference point for you as you go and you try to administer to what you believe the city needs and what you hear back.
Mhm.
And that's what I try to do. So my thing is to kind of be the cheerleader for the city,
Yeah.
and to uh, help it help the city where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Whether it's economic development, personal development, governance, what's happening with the environment, what we're trying to do with revitalization downtown, what we're trying to do with things at the airport, what we're trying to do on the beach side. We're a small city, but we're really a multifaceted city. One of
Mhm.
the number of things that we offer to our citizens, and a number of possibilities that can come up of working.
All right. So, when you're not having coffee with folks and trying to juggle all the many, many opinions that people have here in Vero, what are some things that you and maybe you and Jan like to do to relax, or hobbies, or what do you enjoy doing in Vero when you're off the clock?
Jan and I will really spend a lot of our time around our home.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a great dog. We have rescued our rescue dog Roxy. She's just turned 13 last
Oh my
Sunday.
gosh.
Yeah,
Wow. What kind of dog is she?
she's a mutt. We rescued her from Big Dog Ranch,
Nice.
and she's a 45-pound, mostly hound. Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Kind of a brindle brown and black patch kind of dog with
All
floppy
American
ears.
mix kind of
Yeah, well,
thing.
floppy ears. He's a great dog.
Cute.
So we hang around the house, do a lot of reading. My Jan's an avid tennis player.
Mhm.
Uh, we both try to give back to the community. Jan does a lot of work with because of her 501c3 nonprofit experience. She sits on the board of SRA and also on the finance committee and heads up their audit committee.
That is the senior resource?
Senior Resources Association.
Yeah.
She sits on the finance committee for UP, United
Mhm.
Against Poverty, and she
Mhm.
just took the position of treasurer and on the board for Coastal Connections.
Wow. That's
So
just a few things.
just a few things. So we both believe in giving back to the community. So we make ourselves available to the
Mhm.
community as much as we can. We both consider ourselves, you know, uh, lucky in life. things happen well for us, even though we both come from, very middle class backgrounds.
Mhm.
We both believe in giving back to the community, so that's what we try to both do. And other than that, you try to do some exercise and stuff, kind of
Mhm.
relatively in shape.
Those
So
things they tell you are important.
yeah,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I enjoy cooking and things like that around the house and reading, but essentially, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are some of your favorite things about Vero? Places or, you know, in your eyes, what makes it special?
Well, I think the word special and unique kind of get overused.
That's true. Yes.
Okay. I think what makes Vero the city that people are attracted to
Mm-hmm.
is that it has a combination of neighborhoods
Mm-hmm.
and an environment and people
Mm-hmm.
that come together, and it's relatively recent history. I've had the privilege, again, I keep using that word, but I got to go to the top of the power plant when showing some of the developers that were interested in making the proposal for Three Corners, the area in general. When you get to the top of the power plant, then you understand, you get a really interesting perspective of our city because you can go 360, turn around 360, and you will see various and sundry neighborhoods. Yes, they're all delineated by the oaks in some way, shape, or form, but you have the lagoon area, the island area, and you can see them, and you can see what makes your city. And then the other best part about it, you actually can see the ocean. It's not
Yeah.
blocked by anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think when you combine the fact that we've had the founding fathers of the city in general, which became the county, which
Mhm.
actually was the impetus that became the county. Because we remember this, the city wasn't the first municipality in the county. The first municipality in the county and was the original county seat was actually Fellsmere,
I
and then
remember that.
Fellsmere was
Yeah.
wiped out in a flood, and the entrepreneurial drive of who landed in Vero,
Mm-hmm.
the Sextons and so McWilliamses, and you go on, drove it to the point where began to drive to the point we are now. And the recent history and that's where I really did a deep dive because I'm kind of a history person, is that we have very recent history here. And I'm from Providence. Okay, Providence was founded in 1640. Okay,
Right.
so that's but nobody's really around. There's no, but Roger Williams, the person found. Okay, there's no you can't find a relative of Roger Williams, but you can talk to what I call the heritage families here, the recent and get the recent history of this because it's only 100 years, and it sounds like a long time, but 100 years is not a long time
Mm-hmm.
for some place to be existing. And that's how you get a feel of the community and what they're trying to be here,
Mm-hmm.
and you weigh that it it's interesting. The people here are willing to have discussions and willing to accept your opinions and accept, and relatively speaking, I'm an outsider. I'm the, I think Robbie Brackett is a person told me that being elected, even though it took me 3 times, being elected he's the fastest anybody's ever been elected for who's been a resident, from
Right.
residency to being elected
Right.
was like 2.5 years, 3 years, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. That's a short time
Yeah.
because people here want to know who you are. They want to know if you're going to accept the fact of what Vero Beach is and what it
Right. Do you have
can
an
become.
understanding of the community?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I and it, and I got
Oh, you're good.
got it that way basically because I went out and talked to people and
Mm-hmm.
try to network through, build up relationships,
Mm-hmm.
talk to those heritage families, talk to people been here, involved in government,
Yeah.
um, been involved in public safety, and
Mm-hmm.
finding out what are their concerns, care about, how did all this come about,
Yeah. Yeah.
and what's happening? What do you see as some of the problems we have with challenges that we
Mm-hmm.
face?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the willingness of the people, you go back to your original question, willingness of the people to actually have these conversations with you are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can understand uh, why certain aspects of this city is important.
Mhm.
We really, for a city of only 17,000 people, in a
Mhm.
county of only 170,000 people,
Mhm.
we have so much at our fingertips.
Yes.
We have a world-class museum.
Mhm.
We have a world-class theater.
Yep.
We have entertainment and dining options that you don't necessarily will see in a city this
Mhm.
size.
Mhm.
We have some very proactive uh, professionals here
Mhm.
who come here, uh, many only part time, but a lot full time, who really have a global perspective of what's happening in business industry life,
Mhm.
socially.
A lot of very intelligent people here.
Right,
Yeah.
and that impacts what you become, and that's what's made uh, Vero Beach what it is today. It's all those factors,
Mm.
the the, uh, the kind of the world input from people who've traveled along and have come here either to retire or spend most of their time here.
Yeah.
The heritage families who essentially came here to farm. Remember, this was a farming
This was an
community.
agricultural community. Yep.
It still is. Once you get west of 95,
Right.
it's really an agricultural community.
Mhm.
It wasn't always citrus, by the way.
Right.
It,
A
it
lot of cattle.
a lot of cattle. There was a lot of tomato farming here at one
Mm.
time.
I didn't know
So
that.
yes, so it's been an agricultural driven community. Citrus is always predominant in this area. In its most recent history. So but those just kind of combine. It kind of you mix it up, and it become this conglomeration of people and input, and you have what makes Vero what it is today.
Which is I don't want to say unique again, but it's a great blend. It's a great place to live, and I feel very fortunate that I landed here.
Yeah, and I do too. I mean, it, and I'm sure the county people that you'll be talking to will hate when I say this, but
Uh-oh. Here
here
we
you go.
go.
Here you go.
Controversial.
Here you
This
go.
is this is
No,
the
no, no,
send off. Let's go.
no, no, no. Vero Beach is I'm sorry, the Vero Beach has become the brand of the county. Okay,
Mm, mm-hmm.
people come here because of what we have to offer.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to have said it was a great master plan. Okay,
Right.
but it wasn't. It organically grew this way.
Mm-hmm.
You could say it was luck. You could say it's happen chance. You could say maybe some of it was planned.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was what you see now has happened
Mm-hmm.
organically.
Mm-hmm.
Where the theater and the museum resides, that land was originally set forth by the McWilliams families and Sextons and other Tripsons and other families. That land was set aside to be exactly what it is today.
That's interesting.
A place for
So they did have that
It had a
plan.
plan for
Mm-hmm.
museum, a theater, a planetarium, and a library.
Okay. So we're
Okay.
halfway there.
Okay. So they the founders had the vision.
Mm-hmm.
It came together organically.
Mm-hmm.
Very sundry issues happen, real estate development, and those things led to what's happened on the island with John's Island and the moorings and other places, which attracted a different type of person to come to Vero Beach. You
Mm-hmm.
have the agricultural part of our community, which at one time I mean, the citrus actually began on the island and gravitated across, and then when the Indian River Boulevard wasn't even there, that was all orange groves. It kept moving
Yeah.
out further, further. Now it's on the other side of 95. But all that comes together, and and somehow percolated up and gave us what we have now, which I think is a fascinating community of diverse individuals, and using the term diverse the right way. Okay,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
diversification of individuals
Yes.
who have come here to enjoy the lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we have.
And it's a great lifestyle.
And it's a great lifestyle. It really is.
All right. That's the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right. Where can everybody go to kind of learn more about what's happening in the city, get engaged with the city council, find meeting schedules? Where can they go for all that information?
There's a couple places you can get to. I think, of course, we'll have a city website. If you have some question about your city, please contact your favorite friendly neighborhood city council person.
Yes. What is
You
the
can
website?
excuse me.
What's the website?
The city. You can go to city website. One of I think independent websites that are great for this. You can go to Let's Talk Vero. They offer a view into the city.
A lot of
That
information on there. Yes.
both not only the city but the community in general.
Uh-huh.
Come to a coffee with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
I think Main Street is doing a great job in trying to get Main Street back to its heyday.
Thank you. We're
Okay,
all
and
working on it.
no, I mean that. We work hard here, and it's going to take some time, but I think we're pointing in the right direction. I think, and try to get involved with those different types of organizations. I think those organizations, whether it's Art Club, Garden Club, are trying to help better the community and have done a great job, by the way. And I think that's the best thing to do.
All right. You heard the man. Get involved, get invested, help Vero continue to be the place that we know and love and a wonderful place to call home. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for joining us.